The first thing I noticed wasn't the boyfriend. It was the staring. My wife, her sister, their mother, even the kids went quiet, forks frozen halfway up like someone had pressed pause on the entire table, except me. I sat there, feeling every gaze pinning me to the chair like I was some unwelcome glitch on their perfect family night. The new boyfriend, Evan, smiled as if he'd rehearsed the expression in a mirror. Clean haircut, expensive watch, the kind of handshake that tried too hard. He hadn't said a word yet, but they all kept waiting for something. For me. As if this entire dinner had been set up around me. So, he finally asked, lifting his wine with an almost theatrical tilt, "What do you do for work?" I opened my mouth, and my wife's hand clamped onto my wrist under the table, cold, sharp, warning. "Don't embarrass us," she said, cutting me off with a tight smile that matched her lipstick too perfectly. Laughter burst around the table. Her sister chimed in, "Maybe lie this time, so you don't sound so pathetic." I felt it then, the familiar quiet burn in my chest, the kind that didn't show on my face, the kind that stayed still, calculating, waiting. And as their laughter echoed, something shifted in the air, subtle, barely there, but enough. Because a moment later, when I simply smiled back at them, all their faces went pale. People always assume betrayal reveals itself loudly, screaming, accusations, confrontations. But mine started with a whisper, my wife's, 1 month before this dinner. A late-night phone call she thought I didn't hear, her voice soft, almost tender in a way I hadn't heard in years. "I miss you too," she murmured. "No, he's asleep." I'd lain there, eyes open, watching the ceiling blur. At first, I told myself it was nothing, a coworker, a friend, a harmless conversation. But the tone carved into me. Then came the sudden gym nights, the extra makeup, the unlocked phone turned into a locked one. The way she brushed off questions with irritation, as if curiosity was an attack. Still, I waited. I've always been patient. But the stares at dinner, the coordinated cruelty, the boyfriend introduced like a prize, it all clicked together that night like the final piece of a puzzle sliding into place. They weren't laughing at my job, they were laughing at me, at the fool they thought I was, at the lie they believed I still lived inside. But what they didn't know, what none of them knew, was that I had already begun pulling at the threads long before this dinner. Carefully, quietly. And the truth was already in my pocket. The first step had been simple, her phone records, then her iCloud backups, then the photos she thought she deleted, screenshots of conversations, hotel receipts, a necklace I didn't buy her, the same necklace she wore tonight. I didn't scream, I didn't confront, I didn't even flinch, I just watched, calculated. Every lie she told became a pin in a map I was drawing. Her movements, her excuses, her sudden late nights. Her sister helped cover for her. Her mother babysat so she could work late. There was a whole infrastructure behind the betrayal. And tonight, the family dinner, was supposed to be her final act of humiliation, a public display, a coordinated mockery. The boyfriend wasn't new. He just wasn't supposed to know that I knew. And as they laughed at me around that polished wooden table, my mind stayed unbelievably calm. Because in my pocket was a sealed envelope. Inside it, everything. Every message, every photo, every timestamp, and something more. Something they didn't expect. Their laughter dimmed when I placed the envelope on the table, softly, like setting down a loaded weapon. "What's that?" my wife asked, the first crack appearing in her smile. "Just something for the family," I said, "since we're all sharing tonight." My voice was steady, too steady. Evan shifted in his seat. My wife's mother frowned. Her sister leaned forward with a smirk that didn't last long. Because when my wife opened the envelope and the first photo slid out, her kissing Evan in a hotel hallway, the room exhaled all at once. Silence, dense, crushing. She flipped to the next page, and the next. Her breathing turned shallow. "How did you?" I didn't answer. I just watched as her world, the one she built behind my back, collapsed with the quiet rustle of printed paper. Her sister paled. Her mother covered her mouth. Evan stiffened, realizing the depth of what sat between us. And still, I didn't move. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. My wife finally whispered, "Please, we can talk about this." I shook my head. "We already have," I said, sliding something else across the table, a folded document. Her eyes widened before she even opened it, because she recognized the seal, the signature, the date. "I filed for divorce 3 weeks ago," I said. "You've been served. You just didn't know it yet." Her hands trembled. I didn't get anything." "I know." I leaned back. "I made sure it arrived today, to your mother's house, since you're always here." The boyfriend swallowed hard. "And the accounts?" she whispered, already frozen. Her sister's voice cracked. "You're joking." "I don't joke." The room was ice, frozen, airless, silent. I stood. No theatrics, no final speech, no anger, just clarity. Walking out of that house, I felt something unfamiliar, lightness. Not joy, not relief, just the absence of weight. The kind that only leaves when you finally stop carrying someone else's lies. As I reached the door, I heard her call my name, small, broken, desperate. I didn't turn. She had already taken everything from me she could. Everything except the one thing she never expected I'd reclaim. Myself. I closed the door behind me gently, quietly, finally. And that silence was the loudest freedom I'd ever heard.